Okay, I'm Tom, and I'm the Summer King.
And I'm John, and I will be the Winter King.
But it's not yet. Generally, the first thing we mention is that there are sort of two schools of thought when it comes to the kings of Samhain, and either they are born or created or awaken on the night of Samhain as mortal enemies, destined to fight and destined to be the opposite of each other, or there's a school of thought that they are somehow closer aligned. Yeah, and sort of that struck a chord with both of us rather than being diametrically opposed. So
yeah, that it's much more about passing off the baton, a transition of power, rather than a usurping of the crown.
Yeah. So it starts. Then there's a tree and it's the Summer King, and the need fire gets lit and gets brought to the tree, and the Reds and the Beasties awaken or come from where they've been partying all year, having got into the right headspace, and come and dance around the tree. And just from round the corner comes the Caliac onto the hill, and she's in the form of a hare, still veiled, still not present, but there's the hair, and that sparks the awakening of the Summer King from this tree. Bang, and he jumps out. I follow this hare to the horizon, and just as I get to the horizon where this hare was, there isn't a hare anymore. And the Caliac has changed. She's now portraying this barn owl, and it's a wise owl, a portent through which I see my death. An old Summer King emerges, and he hands me the Winter King's sword. And he puts it in my hand, and with a knowing glance he says, "This is the sword from which you will receive your final blow." You're going to die by this sword. I'm like, oh. And at that point I realise that I have to give that to someone who I trust to look after the poets and the bards and to make sure there's ample tea throughout winter. And I trust no more than my colleague, brother and best friend. And I turn to John and I hand him the hilt of this sword.
And I receive this winter sword with the weight of all the responsibility that comes with it. And in that moment, the thunder of winter's drums arrive and raise the moment up.
All of that time that the summer's been partying, over on the north side of the hill, winter has been rising, and so it's with that, there's been movements of things on the hill while all of this sort of revelry of summer has been happening, and while all this transition has happened, and suddenly the two kings find themselves, by accident really, at the front of armies with swords in their hands, going, "Oh, look where we are."
Maybe now is the time.
Should we have a Barney?
Let's have a battle.
Let's have a Barney.
I think the story we're telling is absolutely gory. It's violent and it's bloody. But they're
eventually, and not wanting to spoil anything.
Not wanting to spoil anything. It might be gory and bloody. Who knows? But the community and the companionship and the friendships that we form in the telling of that story, going through all that process together, are really what make us resilient and robust.